Welcome everyone to Warrior Women in Business episode 43, live in person, finally.
In person, finally.
From Diamond Works MedSpa in New York City. I want to talk a little bit about Warrior Women in Business, and then I'm going to get right into my very VIP special guest today, Carl Clarke.
Yes.
So Warrior Women in Business, for those of you that don't know us, which could be ridiculous, we are a women's organization that is really shaped to help women, particularly female entrepreneurs, build their businesses and grow their careers. So how do we do this? Well, we bring in experts in female beauty, experts in women in business, and experts kind of across the pond on how women can really help each other and grow in their businesses through the podcast, through our event series, through our fashion line, and through other programs that we provide in branding and marketing services to female entrepreneurs. And I'm really happy today to be sitting here live in episode 43 of Warrior Women in Business. My name is Jasmine Sandler. You can find Warrior Women in Business and Jasmine Sandler on all your social media channels. And today we're focused on something that's a very, very important topic that I've been coming across in my travels as a speaker in female entrepreneurial branding. And that is female beauty and age discrimination. So I was very happy to have my guest on today, Carl Clarke, to talk about what it's like to work with women that are aging, that are coming into complications when they're looking to get their next job or sell a product or service when in a lot of cases, younger women are beating them out. And there's actually no reason for that, right? Because we have all the experience. So I asked Carl, I said, could you be on the podcast and talk about, in your 20 years of experience, right? In the medical industry, in the medical spa industry, in the medical aesthetics industry, what it's like to work with women, and how is it that you consult with them, not just on the medical aesthetics piece, but really as an interview, right? They come to you and they're looking for help. They're looking for a solution. They need to look their best, right? And feel their best. So Carl, could you talk to us a little bit about, have you come across this age discrimination issue? What are some of the things that you hear from your patients?
So first, thank you, Jasmine, for having me on the show. I've heard a lot about Warrior Women in Business, and I do love the title. I think it speaks volumes. But I will say, age discrimination among women is something that will never stop. Right? There's an inherent bias that we all have. And with that inherent bias, what it means is we all discriminate against someone at some point of time for something or the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So women also discriminate against women as well, and men do against men as well. But what happens with women is a woman's beauty is attached to her psyche. Absolutely. And how she feels about herself. So it hits harder if she misses an opportunity based on her age. Men not as much, because men typically grace a little more, age a little more gracefully for many reasons.
That's right.
That hopefully I can get into today.
Sure.
But age discrimination among women, it is there, it will never stop. But what you have to understand is it doesn't just happen to you. And at some point, you will go to someone else, and everyone who's been discriminated against you as a female will eventually be discriminated also. So it's a never change that takes many, many years.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, it's best not to focus on the negativity and use it to your advantage, because every criticism comes with some positive light at the end of the
Absolutely.
So if someone is discriminated against age, I will stand back. Obviously, maybe you don't want to work for that company that's doing this, but really self-reflect and take a look at what occurred and where you can use that as an advantage. I find that many women have the sense of eternal beauty until there's or someone mentions to them that something should be done. What happens if that is the case, then I believe you're limiting and hurting yourself even more so because we are critical of ourselves and other people are critical of us. We can't stop people from being critical
That's right.
of us.
It's human nature.
It's going to happen.
Yes.
But what you can't do is to have it beat you down. You can't let it beat you. You gotta fight. And if you're a warrior, woman in business, you're gonna take that as your strength and you're gonna use it as a stepping stone to move forward.
Absolutely. I love that, right? And I talked about the importance of like owning your experience, right? So when women come to you, and you can talk a little bit also about what you do here at Diamond Works, you know, if they're in that place, right? Like, you know, they, like for me, they need to get up in front of an audience or they need to network, right? And they talk about, you know, their kind of concerns, their problems and their goals. What's your approach to them in terms of consulting them, talking to them about how they should look at their beauty moving forward?
That's a very, very interesting question. Looking at the beauty moving forward is something that always has to occur. What do I mean by that? We're always changing, we're always aging.
Absolutely.
Aging doesn't end, aging doesn't stop. That is your hair, your face, your skin, your muscle strength, your endurance.
Yeah.
So it never stops.
Yeah.
Finding the options to solve some of the small problems before they become bigger. Let's talk about where to start.
Yep.
The skin ages, and the skin is made up of multiple layers. I'm not going to bore you with the details on the skin, but the skin fades and it elongates, it stretches. When it stretches, you find small lines, find wrinkles. When that's happening, that is a sign that something negative is occurring gradually.
Yeah.
When that starts to happen, you must reevaluate your skincare routine. So it starts at home. The one thing I find that most women do is have a plethora of skincare products
Absolutely.
on their bathroom countertops, on the bedroom countertops, or dressers, and using maybe only 20% of them, or using them as a remainder. The thing is that we're not pharmacists, and you're not a pharmacist. You don't know the intricacies of the ingredients in those products.
That's right.
And the sensitivity it can be causing to your
That's
skin.
right. That's
And
right.
the aging it can be causing
That's
to your
right.
skin.
Excellent.
So when we buy products that's marketed as good for your skin, well, whose skin is it good for? Whose skin was it tested on?
Right.
Well, there are many different types of skin. So when we're grabbing products because the packaging looks amazing, you know, the packaging is, how many of us, not me, but how many people have bought lipstick because it looks
Oh, of course.
wonderful. It's just,
That's marketing. Yeah.
that's right. That's
100%.
Yes.
The packaging and how
The
it
packaging,
sounds
how
and the
it sounds.
messaging.
Yes. One
Yeah,
of this is that
absolutely.
we're getting away from the fact that all of the ingredients in your skincare products are drugs. Everything in there is a drug that causes a change on the surface of the skin. And changing the surface of the skin, meaning we're changing the pH level of the skin, we're changing the microbiome or the bacterial flow of the skin. Okay? We're changing the acidity level of the skin. We are making tremendous changes on the skin. How does the body react to that? If you have an abundance of melanin, dark skin, or even if you're light with a little bit of melanin, melanin will go to the surface of the skin where there's trauma. Types of trauma, there's the sun, which is obvious,
yeah.
that's the UV radiation.
Yeah.
But we also have trauma from chemicals, microchemical burns that damage the skin, that ages the skin, and so the body sends melanin up to the surface of the skin to protect that layer. What is it about the melanin that most individuals may not love? Is the differences in the color.
Yeah, with discoloration.
Yes, discoloration. If you're darker, hyperpigmentation.
Yeah.
So when you see one area is a little darker,
Yeah.
the center is a little lighter, the forehead has a little darkness, all of that is melanin production. And the more severity the chemical burns from the skincare products, the darker the melanin, the more abundance the melanin. And so we're reducing that beautiful luminosity of the skin because we are inadvertently damaging the skin with hyperchemical application on the skin. No reason you need to wash the face twice a day, 3 times a day. For
No,
example, when you wake up, you wake up, you're gonna hit the shower, you go in the bathroom, you look at the mirror. Why do we wash the face after waking up? The pillowcases are dirty. Yeah, you're sleeping on the floor. The skin is not dirty. The face is not dirty. It doesn't need soap. It doesn't need chemical. It just needs a splash of water to make you up. You pat it dry. Moisturizer, sunblock, makeup. If that happens, it's simple, but it doesn't make money for
no.
the billionaires, right?
So the skincare industry is
It's
multi-billion dollar.
unbelievable.
It's one of the biggest industries. People don't even know that.
100%.
Absolutely.
And it's designed that way.
Yeah.
So one of the things I instruct and teach my patients, my clientele, is it first starts with skin health at home.
So,
If you have a cut on your arm, you're not gonna throw 10 different chemicals on that wound to try to fix it. What happens is it hurts.
yeah.
So we don't want to put chemicals on the skin. That's the first place to start. The second place is seek professional help. Come to someone like myself. Most dermatologists, but seek someone that can assist you with the type of skin you have. Estheticians are amazing at this.
Yeah.
The type of skin you have, and then what is the best product for your skin? If the esthetician has 1 or 2 brands in the entire office, that's not a good sign.
That's
Because
interesting.
1 brand or 2 isn't for everyone.
It's a good question for women to ask. I wonder, like, how many
Absolutely,
women actually ask those questions?
that's right. And if you're offering this brand to me,
Yeah.
how many people use this brand, and for what purpose are you offering the brand in my skin? Well, it's going to neutralize your skin, and it's going. How do
Right?
you know?
Yeah.
Did you test my
These are all the
skin?
promises.
That's right.
I
So it's all visual,
Yeah.
visual diagnosis of the skin, and inherently we're the skin.
I love it. I love how you started with home care.
Yeah.
It's first because I think it really sounds to me like it has a lot to do with accountability.
Yeah.
Being educated and being aware first.
I love that you said educated.
So would you say maybe a smart thing to do, like a practical thing to do? Because I'm guilty of it too. You have no idea how many bags of products I have. Ridiculous. Okay, throw them all out.
Yeah.
But would you say a practical thing? Because I have a lot of my washer things too from Beverly Hills, right? So these women know skincare, but I'm wondering whether you would say that maybe they should go through their products, right? They kind of strip them down.
Absolutely.
Like that. Yeah.
I would divide the skincare products and the second part that's 1 to 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And then another part that's just 1 year. Everything that's 1 year old needs to go in the garbage. Why? Because the potency of that product isn't there anymore.
Just like medicine, right?
That's right. And the marketed vitamin C or the marketed main ingredient isn't as active anymore. So what happens is we just put in inner chemicals on the skin that's doing nothing. So when the expiration date, also throw away the products that don't have an expiration date. How long has it been in the truck, in the parking lot, in CVS, before it gets to your home? It could be 1 year or 2 years.
That's true.
So and skincare products are very expensive. I'm a guy, I don't use
They're
skincare
very,
products,
very expensive.
but sometimes a lipstick is $50.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Unbelievable. Yes. So those 3 piles, and of those 3 piles, you're probably going to be left with maybe 2 or 3 skincare products. Take those skincare products to your medical provider and ask, are these products good for my skin? If they don't have the right answer, or they don't seem to have a great answer, or they try to push additional products on you, then you just need to find someone else who can answer this.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what you do and, okay, and the kind of the approach, because, you know, some women may fear what you do in a sense of they don't know enough about it, right? They don't know enough about this practice. And like you said, there's multiple steps to this, right? You talk about home care first. I think education. We both are educators.
Yeah.
We both completely agree on that, right? So there's a very important education piece, self-education, right? Right? But then the third piece is really understanding what the process may be for a woman. Let's take a woman in her 30s, whatever, right? She's starting to see some wrinkles. She's starting to go into interviews or sell her services, and she's starting to get some negative reaction, right? She's thinking, oh my God, like, am I old? And she's not. You know what I'm saying?
But
How should she approach something like, what is this that you do for those women that don't know, and how can she arm herself with questions when she comes into your service?
So first of all, what I do, I don't just sell Botox. I treat the entire individual. So a lot of what I do to make sure that that client leaves my office confident about themselves, their skin, and their appearance. If anything, that's what I say. So what I do, I remove the things, or for lack of a better term, I fix the things that you cannot remove. I smoothing the skin, softening the skin, rejuvenation services for the skin, non-surgical, enhancing your natural beauty by using that angles and the shapes on your face. Right. Also that you had higher if you're looking to shape it to your style. When you're going on an interview, you will not go with a wrinkled blouse.
There you go.
Wrinkled pants. What makes the skin that different? It doesn't. No, this is age discrimination. If someone has lines in it, no. It is what you represent yourself as. If you want to present to me on an interview with lines, I'm not talking about individuals who cannot afford. It's so different. If you have the financial ability to, and if you're a warrior woman,
and you're a warrior woman who's a professional,
that's right,
who has high goals.
That's right. You would make sure that your presentation is on point.
Absolutely.
So individuals who can spend $400, $500, $600 over here,
can
absolutely afford a little bit of Botox to soften and smoothen the skin. That takes away that additional thing for someone to discriminate against.
I love that point. I just want to interrupt you if you don't mind. I love the point where we started was talking about the products at home. We talked about the expense of these products. I know, right? We all know. And then we're talking about possible expenses of things that rejuvenate and drive beauty, right? So I love that you said, if you can afford X, you can afford Y, right? So if you can afford buying all these products, I don't want to name any brands at all on this podcast, but if you can afford to buy these thousands of dollars a year, I know because I've done it. Thousands and thousands and thousands.
Botox is a fraction of that
Thousands
cost.
and thousands of dollars a year on creams and potions and lotions that say they can get rid of wrinkles or plump things up or whatever. Right? Versus getting an education and then doing something doctor treated.
And can I interrupt
Because I love it. I'm sorry, but I love it.
Absolutely.
Because that's what people don't realize.
Listen, if you're buying a skincare product to remove fine lines and wrinkles, that's what Botox does. So where's the disconnect where, I want to remove this using a cream that doesn't work, that's going to cost me $70, $150 or $200, as opposed to doing something that we all know works.
They say it works, and they say things like, well, you have to wait 6 weeks, 8 weeks,
3 months,
weeks,
4 months. But you're hoping that you forget
And
and
then
it stays on your
that's
countertop
right.
or your bathroom, and you're going to the
If you
next one.
understand marketing, you
right.
know these things.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the product you have bought that you're no longer using, but you've replaced with another product, is all owned by 1 or 2 companies. So
That's an excellent
There you go.
point. That's right.
So it's, the thing is, what I'm trying to convey is take control of your visual aging. Take control of how you age. Today we have the medical technology to do that. Our parents didn't have that. So
No.
we have that ability to look our best when we want to do. And if you are pushing for the top, then you have to do everything to your advantage to get to the top.
Yeah. So it's funny, when I started, I think it was before I even started Warrior Women in Business, when I had this JSM personal branding package service on, maybe 2011, 2012. We had a branding package for executives because they said, we want to feel our best, we want to look our best, we want to have it. So it wasn't just branding. We would bring in stylists, makeup and hair. And I think what you're saying is so poignant and important. Is if you want to make money, you want to go for the gold, you have to invest in yourself, right? And your business. And I think that's really important.
100%. If you invest in your, for example, I had a friend recently asked me, or he was actually telling me that I should invest in this, I should invest in that. And I have to say, my best investment in my entire life was investing
In yourself, 100%.
I have given myself
100%.
1,000 times more than
Yeah.
what any property or what any stock can give me. Case in point, if you look your best, it's not just a visual cue someone has, but it's the aura, the ambience of your style
You feel
that you're giving to someone and people around you. You know how many women say, if I don't have any life, I feel good about myself in the morning, but they also treat their husbands, their boyfriends, their significant others, they treat them nice
because they're happy.
because they're happier about
Yes.
how they feel about it.
Yes. And everybody should feel great about themselves.
Yeah, I give happiness. If you ever ask me what it's like, that's what it's like. So everyone surrounding the individual who's getting work is actually benefiting from the work that we do.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do an honest job, always.
I love it. So two things I want to talk about. So one is I know that you educate patients, right? But you also do some education for other providers, right? Can you talk about that?
So we have a company for the past 5 years called the Jetford Coaching Institute. And what it is a full comprehensive training institute that gets medical providers into the field of medical beauty, medical aesthetics on the right path, meaning how to inject, what products to inject, where those products should be injected, the anatomy of the face, which is super, super important. The science behind the products that are being used, not all fillers are the same, even if it's under the same brand. Not all juveniles are the same, not all wrestlings are the same, not all products are the same from the same brand. So Injectable Coaching Institute is one place that I find I give back to medical practitioners who are looking to continue the love they're giving to their patients.
And are they, so give an example if you don't want to. Is it in a hospital? Is it a private clinic?
So Injectable Coaching Institute is really here. It's in our medical spa.
I mean, the
So we
partners that
train
you work with.
yes, we train individuals in our spa along with our clientele.
I see.
So it's a real time training.
Okay.
Meaning you're not just studying books and answering quizzes and you get a certificate. You know, you're literally treating other patients and seeing and understanding what your treatment does.
Wonderful. That's really great. So you're based in New York City, but that could go anywhere.
That can go anywhere.
That
We
can
have
go anywhere
injectors
because there's medical offices
every
everywhere.
state. We have injectors from Alaska, California, you know, who are coming for training and who understand the necessity for proper training. Again, I've been doing this for 20 years. There's no one doing this longer than me.
Yeah.
You know, when Botox came out 2004, that's when it started.
So talk about, I mentioned in the preview to the podcast that Carl is writing a book. So
Yes.
talk a little bit about what you're planning on doing. Where are you with the book? What's the reason and purpose of it?
So the book crosses 3 genres.
Okay.
It's gotta be complicated. It crosses 3 genres, which is
No, it makes
it makes sense. It's a short period memoir. Basically, it talks about where I came from. You know, landing in this country in 1989, the crack epidemic, 17 years old, you know, coming here virtually by myself. So it's a short period memoir mixed with an instructive medical aspect. And it's also expository, meaning that it gives you instructions within the medical beauty field as to questions you should ask, what you should be aware of, what happens in the industry. Because most patients
They don't
have a
know.
clue what happens
Yeah.
behind the Botox bar.
They don't.
That's right. And the
And if I think they knew, then they probably will feel more.
absolutely.
And I think
You
so
feel
important.
ease
Yeah,
getting the work done.
right,
And knowing that you have the right questions to ask, that you know what's going into your body
right.
and what to expect
Yes,
and what not to expect.
that's so important.
Absolutely.
So where's the, how,
So,
you
so
expect it to
the
come
book,
out? Or
it
where?
should debut early fall.
All right,
Yeah, we're working some kinks and doing
working hard on it.
working some kinks and doing the final editing. But yes, early this fall it should be out. And yes, I just have to say it will be. There's nothing else like this book on the market today. There's nothing else like this book on the market. I have.
Do you think this book would fall more in the medical or the beauty category?
So it doesn't fall heavy
Does
on
it
the
did-
medical.
Okay.
It's a medical instructive, but it's a narrative.
Narration or more?
It's a narrative form with,
Yeah.
with stories about treatment,
Okay.
about patient encounters,
Yeah.
but also
So either audience,
either audience. So injectors are gonna love this book.
right?
Clients are gonna love this book. And it's really targeted for the individual who is serious about their beauty, about their aging, and what to expect, what not to expect going forward in the medical beauty industry.
I love it. So it's not a question of as you're aging and, you know, you're looking to become a real warrior woman, a successful person. It's not a question of if I should think about doing this. I think it's just a matter of when.
It's not.
I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Listen, I have 18-year-old clients and they have
Wow.
85-year-old clients.
18.
Here's the thing, it's not about age. Age is the thing that gets you through the door, but it's not about age, it's about what you want or what you're comfortable with and what you don't want.
Mm,
If you want those things, it's okay. This no issue.
yeah,
Some people like to have some life on character,
Right.
so it's about what you want and what you don't want. The things that you don't want that you cannot remove, that's what I'm here for. The things that you would love to have back that you can't get yourself, that's what I'm here for.
yeah.
So I'm here to remove the things that you can't remove and add the things that you can add.
Okay.
That's
It sounds like women's magic,
yes.
but it isn't magic, guys. It's actually real. And I'm so happy that you're doing so many of these things because there's so many misconceptions and
There is a
so many
tremendous-
bad images out there and, you know, and so two stories I want to share. So one is, I just want your insight, feedback on it. So one is, and I don't need things ever on, but recently I was working with a woman. We do a lot of online branding. A woman who's looking to jump into a totally new career. She's midlife, mid-career. And she said to me, because I was just doing a little what she said, I don't want you to date anything on a profile. Meaning, I don't want anybody to know when I went to school, this and that. I said, why? She said, I don't want anybody to know my age. So for me, if you're going for a higher value and salary position, your age and years of experience are very important. Just how you wrap it up, right? So that's kind of the feedback I gave her, and we met in the middle. I'm just wondering your insight on
This harkens back to the first question, age discrimination. So she has a history of feeling inadequate about her age. A lot of times, most of medical beauty that I practice is the psychological aspect of it.
Yeah.
The physical is there. You're going to look great. I'm going to make you look great. But I'm also going to work on how you feel about yourself. But because she has a block in front of her that she cannot get past,
Yes.
right? She feels
I
that
do some therapy too. I get it.
absolutely this type of work comes with
They come from the territory.
So that is where she is. Unfortunately, we cannot fix every scenario, but I can guarantee you, if she looked in the mirror and loved what she saw, she wouldn't worry as much about the thing. So sometimes individuals don't come to me because they've seen other people on the subway or the streets that look strange
Yeah,
or that has had poor manners.
that's right.
But let me ask you this question. If your plumber comes to your house to fix your faucet
Oh my God, I need it from so bad. That's a whole nother conversation.
and doesn't do a great job, you don't blame the wage.
Yeah.
You don't blame anything, it's the plumber that did the bad job.
That's correct.
When you see a bad job outside, bad lips, bad nose, bad Botox, it's not Botox that did that.
No.
It's the person that individual went to. So here's another thing. Most good work you don't notice because you're not supposed to
That's
notice
right.
good work.
You're not supposed to notice it.
You're supposed to see the individual and say, oh my God, you look great. Are you working out? Are you eating well?
You might be better.
You're sleeping better. You're just on vacation. So good work goes
Yeah.
unnoticed.
Yeah.
Bad work, everyone sees it.
And here's another thing that's interesting, is that when a medical doctor, a surgeon in the hospital does a procedure, a plastic surgeon procedure based on some issue that a person has, no one questions that. They say, well, you busted it, you know how many blah. Everybody knows I'm a daredevil. So it's like,
I've told her many times, cut it out.
stop doing this,
Yes.
but I will not.
No.
I'm worried. But, so you break your nose, as me, I broke both my orbital bones, and you go in and you get sutured up and they fix you in the hospital, and no one questions. But if you come here and you want to fix, enhance your lips, enhance your eyes, it's a problem. So that's why I'm so happy that
Absolutely. It's hard for us to say, well, it's something on my features is broken. What many women see is they become so harsh on themselves, and many cannot admit that, yes, you're getting older, but you have to embrace that age. That is opportunity, that is insight, that is wisdom. You can't have everything. You can't have all of the wisdom and all of the beauty at the same time.
That's
It just
right.
doesn't happen together. And most people become richer and wiser as they age.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing, in the book, answers that question. Why do we not hold the surgeon accountable, but we hold everything else accountable? So there's a lot of disconnect.
Absolutely.
And that comes from years of it being ingrained upon us that we must listen to our elders or our superiors, that they're always right.
Yeah.
The priest, the lawyer, the surgeon, so
Your parents.
right. When you ingrain that into your children,
That's
it's
right.
hard for them to say, well, let me check your credentials, Dr. Blah, blah.
Right.
Oh my God, no, that dog will be offended, so I'm not gonna ask. I'm just gonna have
You're
him.
afraid to.
That's right. I'm just gonna have him do my brain surgery because I'm not gonna ask him. I'm afraid to offend him.
Yeah.
Because not every medical doctor, lawyer, or plumber graduated at a company's class. You have to know that you are getting into the hands of someone who is good at what they do, and
Yeah.
who is compassionate, empathetic, and have your back.
That's the key. That's the key. Someone that has your back and is empathetic, right? And not just doing it for a paycheck. Or, again, I'm not going to name names of podcasts, stroke their ego because they did a good job. So then that's a problem in medical history. You know that,
It is
right?
a huge problem.
That's a major problem.
But this is why I wrote the book also.
I know,
It's,
yeah.
and yes, as an educator, I want to talk and talk. I can talk in 2 hours. I know. But as an educator.
I'm not even looking at the clock when I'm talking to you. It's fine.
As an educator, we want to give as much information as possible. But too much information is too much, so we have to give it a little bit at a time. If someone comes to my
Yeah,
office,
that's right.
if someone comes to my office, I start with small bits. I say, start with this, come back in 2 weeks or 1 month, let's look again. And you take small baby steps until you're good.
That's right. And you will also tell them no, right?
Absolutely.
So if somebody says, I want humongous lips, let's say, I don't.
But that's not.
No, yeah. So you would advise them.
Absolutely.
My point is you would advise them
Absolutely.
whether something is good for them, maybe not. and-
Absolutely. Because there are different styles of lips.
Right.
So
I'm only
somebody-
choosing that.
I know.
I don't even know why that is my brain.
So somebody.
I was thinking of Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, I was just saying.
The vision just popped in my head.
Somebody saying,
So-
well, I kind of want to Angelina Jolie this, but listen,
Yeah.
your facial features will not length to that little. But here's what would look like.
That's it. And you started with, or midway when we were talking about working around the person's face.
Yes.
You're not working around someone other's face for their face. And that's where I see the difference in some of the providers.
Absolutely.
All right, so you talk about warrior women a lot, but I always ask my guests anyway, What does the term warrior women in business mean to you?
I think of confidence. I think of self-sufficiency. And I also think of psychological well-being. Why is that psychological well-being? Because we live in a male-dominated world, and many times as a female, you are hurt psychologically over and over and over by most males that you encounter, including the spouses, the bosses, the siblings, the friends.
Oh, yeah.
And so, as a warrior woman, you have to rise above that by healing yourself. You can't heal yourself by yourself. You understand? And this is why I think
I do.
I think
Believe
your
me, I do.
your organization. I'm sure there are many women in that organization that can help each other and lift each other. So I do think that the confidence and the psychological well-being, I think those are the top two that I think are important.
Love your answers. During COVID, I think I had 3 different episodes related to psychology. I had suicide prevention director from the mayor's office on. I've had a lot of different women because on the podcast around psychology. Because you can't move forward in your business if you're stuck in your head. Let's make that up, but it's true.
It is very true.
It's very true. And these are the reasons why maybe somebody is afraid to come to you, or, I don't want to invest in those kind of things.
I always say most of what I do is psychological.
Yeah.
When I started Botox around 2003, after about 5 years, I was questioning myself about what I was actually doing.
Oh,
Did I go to medical school? Did I finish all of this to get Botox?
yeah.
The reality is, Botox is just a tool. Fillers are just a tool. It's the psychological benefit that everyone gets above and beyond that no other medical specialty gives. That's true. In my opinion, medical beauty done safe and effective in the right hands, it does a tremendous amount for your psyche and your psychological value.
Absolutely, especially in today's world. Look, we're staring at 4 different cameras right
Yes.
now.
I'm not
It's
sure.
very hard to know what to do. But the point is that everybody is visual and everybody's online. And it's, I was on CBS about the selfie world. And it's, unfortunately, you're gonna judge yourself. 100%, right? So
We live in a world.
why not love yourself and give yourself a gift? So talking about gifts.
No gifts.
I have not even looked at these questions today
Yes.
because it's such a great conversation. So talk a little bit about the practice here, what women can expect, any free gift that you want to give.
Okay, so we are Diamond Works MedSpa, owner-operated family practice, small business. And if anyone comes to us and says, I listen, or I am part of your women business, you will get 1 year of Botox free of charge.
Wow,
Just so you
very
can
generous.
understand that it's nothing to be afraid of. You're not gonna have it done and look like a shit. Right? You have done
Shipwrecks,
no, you will look beautiful. So 1 area of pertaining to medical products for beautification,
Okay.
maybe microneedling, which is a surface treatment on the
Is that what
skin.
was over there that I took off the table?
It was.
I'm always hurting
It
myself.
was, it was.
There was a bag of, there were needles,
Yes,
and I said, let's remove these.
yes. So microneedling uses.
But they
needles
are
also.
safe.
They are safe.
Yeah.
So microneedling uses it, but very, very tiny. But what it does is strengthens and thickens the skin.
Oh,
Because as we age, the skin gets thinner and thinner. and thinner.
yeah.
So
So
really,
it helps that outer layer
absolutely.
by what, infusing something in the inner layer or whatever?
It's the
So
only
people
product, it's the only product that creates as much collagen as possible into the skin. There's no other esthetician service that gives you as much collagen as microneedling.
Wow. And it's just a facial treatment.
So it's similar to a facial, but it uses micro, very, very tiny needles to create very small micro trauma to the tissue, which forces the skin to regrow. That regrowth is collagen.
Wow.
So the skin comes in thicker and smoother. A lot of people do it for acne, they do it for open pores, they do it for rough skin, they do it for fine lines. So microneedling, it came out of Asia about 10, 12 years ago. Interesting. Microneedling is the way to go for your skin improvement and skin health.
So I thank you for being so generous. Honestly, I know the value of these services. So one area Botox,
One area
or
for
microneedling.
all microneedling.
But either way, he will consult you on
Everyone gets a consultation.
on
this.
what makes sense for that individual person.
Individual.
Based on it. So whether you are going for a new job, or like most of us, hardcore warrior women in business selling our products and services, we need to network. And you're not feeling maybe your best, and you're like, you know what? I've looked at my medical cabinet and it's ridiculous. I spent like $5,000 on these products and they're doing nothing. I want a revolution in skincare.
The packaging is good, so.
Packaging looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So a couple things I want to say about what's coming up in Warrior Women in Business. I want to thank you so much First of all, for hosting us today.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful space here in historic Queens, right off the subway. It's super easy to get to, and a really nice neighborhood. You should come visit. And talking to us today, about really being frank and honest about what this is all about, you know, and what people then expect and how it affects society. Very, very important.
Absolutely. 100%.
So a couple things I want to mention that are coming up that I didn't mention. Again, this is Warrior Women in Business. I'm Jasmine Sandler, and we have some really exciting things coming up. I am flying out of here on Monday. So excited, going to my favorite place, Beverly Hills, where Warrior Women in Business has new operations, and we have a tremendous event Tuesday evening. All of you are invited that live in the Beverly Hills or Los Angeles area. And it's going to be at Cafe Roma. If you're interested, in the show notes, we'll provide a link to the event, like tickets, but we're going to be showing off our new Beverly Hills clothing line a little bit there. It's going to be some fun shopping, networking. Everybody's going to look amazing.
So you're not taking me?
No.
I'm not invited.
Well, maybe if the girls that are listening want you there, they'll bring you there, which would be great. Why not have a service in Beverly Hills?
Why not have me in Beverly Hills?
Why not?
Yes.
Listen, it was my goal. I made it happen.
Yeah.
So that's July 18th. All of our podcast episodes are, you can find them on YouTube, Spotify, and all the streaming channels. Warrior Women in Business has membership programs you can check out on warriorwomenbusiness.com. And we'll be editing this podcast episode and sharing that to all of you. So if you're interested, visit warriorwomenbusiness.com, sign up for our newsletter. And we want to thank you so much for joining us today live from Diamond Works MedSpa in historic Queens, New York City. So with that, I'm going to sign off from Warrior Women in Business episode 43.